Hello everyone, my name is Bill Mahoney, son of Bill and Therese Mahoney, actually the oldest son, the senior son of Bill and Therese Mahoney, husband of Amalia, father to Michael, brother of my lovely sisters Shannon, Judy, and Maureen, and my cantankerous and interesting brothers Brian and Kevin. I'm very happy to be here to join in the family's 60th year celebration, basically honoring 60 years of Mahoney family Christmas celebrations for the extended family. It's a wonderful tradition. I'm very proud to be a Mahoney. It was very lucky for me to be born in the family with such a history and such character. What does it really mean to be a Mahoney when I think of it? First of all, I think everyone really needs to understand is the family is incredibly Irish and all that means. Number one, just even if you look at the names of the family, Grandpa Dennis Mahoney, on his side of the family, you go back, in addition to the Mahoney name, you see the names of Ronan and Madigan. Grandma's name was Anna McLaughlin, and if you look on that side of the family, you have the names of Gallagher and Walsh and McHugh. So I feel blessed to be really 100% Irish, and that's a given if you look at the character of the family. And what does that mean to be Irish? I think the first thing is the tremendous sense of loyalty. It's almost tribal in that we're very protective of one another. We're always in each other's corner. If people need assistance, we're there to give it. If people are in trouble, we attempt to help them solve their problems. The second thing is, and this we're very proud of it, and I think it's a very Irish characteristic, the family's very intelligent. It's very learned. And the family are leaders. So if you look at what everybody in the family has done in terms of education and professional accomplishments, leading their businesses, being active in their churches, running programs in their communities, teaching in everybody's schools, the family has made a huge imprint on the Chicago community, and I think it's going to continue to do so. The third thing, and my wife always hates when I say this, she thinks we put too much emphasis, but the family's got a great history in sports. We have some wonderful athletes. Uncle Dennis was a tremendous athlete. He was the quarterback in the Prep Bowl for Fenwick back in the 1940s. My cousin Tommy and Johnny were excellent football players, as was Joey. My cousin Mark was an all-state basketball player, and his brother Dennis was a multi-sport athlete, excelling in football, baseball, and basketball. And I played high school sports, baseball and basketball as well. And we have one example of a good female athlete, and that was my cousin Nancy. She was a tremendous softball player. So the family loves sports, is very passionate about it, and still follows it and plays it religiously. Another thing that I think you should really know is how close the family is, and it goes back to the beginning. I have very vivid memories of the family, us getting in the car on Sundays and going to visit Grandpa and Grandpa, their apartments on the west side. I have vivid memories of my grandmother. She was just a saintly woman, as kind as could be, and my grandfather was a piece of work. He was very husky guy, very strong guy, very bright guy, very opinionated guy, and he really enjoyed life and really liked to have a good time. So they were a great combination. In terms of being brought up, was brought up in St. Eugene's and St. Juliana's. Dad was really the Pied Piper of the neighborhood, taking care not only of us, but all of our friends. If something needed to be repaired, he was the guy who did it. If someone needed to be driven somewhere, he would do it. If someone needed to run an errand for another member of the family, he would always be that guy. And he stayed that way for really the balance of his life. Mom was just a wonderful person, and they had a great marriage. They were very compatible and had a lot of fun. And Mom was a strong believer in faith, really encouraged us to excel in school, and she was very, very close to her in-laws, had great relationships with Anna Marie, Aunt Anita, and Aunt Rosemary, and really loved Uncle Dennis and Uncle Joe as well. We had a very fun upbringing. I had the best job in the world, being the oldest son in an Irish family. I never had to wash the dishes. I didn't have to do any cleaning. And my brothers and sisters had to wait on me, and they continue to do so, but it was a great blessing to be brought up in that family. My parents really supported me in my education. I went to Quigley, which was a great school, then Loyola, then on to University of Illinois Law School, and they made financial sacrifices to do that. The other thing I remember is really is the uncles. Uncle Dennis had a major impact on me. He loved to read. He loved sports. He really encouraged me to read when he saw I liked to read. He would always bring me books at Christmas about history or biographies or sports. He was a great teacher himself, and he ran the Little League in Niles and was a wonderful coach. And Uncle Dennis was just a very, very kind and funny guy, and he thought he had a very good singing voice and would display it at every wedding. Uncle Joe was a very intimidating figure. Big guy, husky, commander of the homicide group for the police department. He much more fulfilled the stereotype of a police officer than my dad did. Uncle Joe was tough. Dad came across as very kindly, even though Dad ended up very high ranking as well, being a deputy superintendent and deputy chief and having great responsibility. But Uncle Joe was a larger-than-life figure. The story that I can tell involving me that brings it, I think, into focus is I remember playing football in 8th grade. St. Juliana, our rivalry was Immaculate Conception, where Margie went, and Uncle Joe attended the game with Dad. And we had a great game, and we had a better team. And I scored 2 touchdowns that day. But the highlight was the first touchdown is I ran a crossing pattern across the field. My quarterback hit me in stride, and I ran up the sidelines about 60 yards for a touchdown. A great play, and the crowd went wild. The only thing that was odd about the touchdown is I broke free of the defense and ran down the sideline. Out of the corner of my eye, my peripheral vision, I saw someone running along the sideline, even with me and even gaining on me. And I always wondered, what is going on? That person's out of bounds. And when I got to the end zone and turned around and raised my hand with a touchdown, I found out who it was when running up the sideline. It was Uncle Joe, who ran into the end zone, still at full speed, picked me up and held me over his shoulders and gave me a big hug and congratulated me on the touchdown. I guarantee you that's not happened to anyone else who's ever scored a touchdown, but it tells you a lot about Uncle Joe. He was very excited. He was larger than life, and the fact that I remember the story shows what an impression it made on me. And that's just an example of the kind of people that the Mahoneys are. They really live life to the fullest. They're optimists. They're people who see glasses as half empty, half full rather than half empty. They look for the positive. If you come to our Christmas parties, there's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of people laughing from their gut and really enjoying one another's company. So I think the family has a great legacy. We had great moral and teaching examples from our parents and our aunts and our uncles, and I think we have a great future. So it's a very proud moment to be part of the celebration and to be part of this family.